Hey guys, my name is Kim and welcome to my first video. Not really because I've filmed it so many times now, but welcome. Finally, we are here. About maybe this week even, I decided that I'm going to start doing one thing that scares the bejesus out of me every single day, and this week, that's a lot of this stuff. And so welcome, it's awesome to have you here, and just carry on watching whilst I trip through my words and let's see what we get out of this. So, in thinking about the one thing that scared me the most, I'm here, I realized I'm here in YouTube sharing in this space because even though I've been able to, recently go on a podcast and share my story, even though I'm in a position now as a breakthrough coach where I'm able to help women to transform their lives, even though I've been able to inspire so many of those that work with me and so many of those that are around me in my environment, things were not always this way, right? So the other day I was scrolling through my Facebook on my group Kamaya and something just popped up, a picture, one of those memories that Facebook loves to show us. Awesome. And this one triggered, it really triggered a reminder of a place that I was in in 2014. And yeah, when I saw that, it really brought back a lot of memories for me. It reminded me of the person I was at that time. It literally made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up because it was like a ghost from the past in a sense. And now I've done a lot of healing on this, but it really took me back to a day the way I was dressed, where I was living. I remember those things so exactly. And that was a time when I had just gotten myself out of a really abusive relationship, when I was almost dropping out of uni, when on the way to uni, on the way to my job at the time, I was having anxiety attacks on the bus in boots, England, in boots. And I was like passing out in places. I would crawl under the table at uni and just stay there. And I was staying in bed, not doing my uni work, not communicating to people. In fact, I was pushing people away. I was not living, that's just a simple matter of fact of what was going on at that time. I was staying in bed for days, get up, grab some food, go back. I wasn't doing my uni, I wasn't doing anything. I was a mess. And for some of my colleagues back then, I was horrible to work with too. And that's a big thing for me to admit, not right now, but I knew it back then. And I just couldn't even, Anyway, what I'm saying is, this is why I'm here, because it wasn't always the way things are for me right now. And what started to help me was, there was a day when I made a second, I went back to my doctor and I was clinically diagnosed with anxiety and depression. And on this second trip, after many doctor's notes that signed me off for many different things from uni, and after many trips to the doctor and this and that, they finally prescribed me, actually on 2 different occasions, with the drugs, right? And for me, as a creative person, I just felt like if I don't have access to my creativity, then there was no point in me being here. What else did I have? I didn't have anything else. I either lost it or pushed it all away. And that was it. So for me, it was like, there has to be another one thing that I can try to do before I do this, right? And so I went onto YouTube. I was listening to podcasts, and that is the reason, that is the way that I was able to get through. So bit by bit, step by step, I started listening to people who made me feel alive again, who started to remind me of who I was inside. People whose stories that I could resonate to, I remember so I used to watch The Rock in, WWE when I was a kid, with me and my cousins. We'd play rough, real rough and just get down with it and all of that. But then when I heard his story, when I was in that position, that really helped me get through some tough times. When I heard his 7-buck story and heard how he had to drag a mattress out of a dumpster, it really rang home to me, because there was a time in my life when I was about 19 and I was made homeless. And no, I didn't end up dragging a mattress out of a dumpster. I ended up living in a hostel and ended up having people who, but only through being vulnerable, who then began to help me, you know, and that was a really, really tough time of my life, and I just didn't think that things were going to get better. I couldn't see a way out, and I had these few people, a few voices through the interwebs telling me their story, and that's the only thing that kept me going, you know. And so for me, I feel like I was able to get to where I am today in listening to people share their story. And I remember this 17, 18, 19, even 20, 21-year-old me really wanting to feel like there was somebody more like me that I could look to show different elements of my journey, because there wasn't ever one person who I really saw go through the whole thing in the same way that I did, but I could look to different people and feel it. Anyway, I'm rambling. But yeah, so that is why I'm here, because now I'm in a position where I'm able to lift people up with me. I'm able to share techniques, share truths and learnings that I was able to get through my journey. And I want to know that if there's a 17-year-old girl out there or boy out there who is going through a similar thing to I did, if me sharing my story could help that person the same way that could have helped me and that it did help me, then that's why I'm here, you know. And in my working world, I work with women, and to go through this process, that is what I serve. That's who I serve and why I serve. And so that's a bit more about me. And today, what I really wanted to do was give you 5 tips, tricks, steps, whatever you want to call it, to creating for yourself a life that you love. And sometimes, you know, we may all think, oh, easier said than done, and whatever. But the truth is, if we truly put our minds and choose to start applying like these 5 things, then things are just going to start day by day. You're going to start edging your way towards a life that better suits you, towards a life that you just learn to feel happy. You feel happy from the inside out, you know? And that's what I want to share with you. So without further ado and too much more. Number 1, accept the way that things are right now. However that is for you, whatever that looks like, whether you're up, down, wherever you are on that spectrum, do your best to accept not just the way that they are right now, but how you feel. Like, more so than anything else, it's about how you feel. So the emotions, don't try to fight them. It's not a boxing match. Don't try to press them down too much. Accept the way that they are. Let them flow. Write them out. Talk to someone, you know. The way you speak to yourself really matters in this time. And so for me, that's the thing that's really helped me along my journey. The first one is to accept the way things are right now, not suppress, let them flow and let them go. And number 2, decide what's important to you. Decide what you value most. And this is a really important one, because for me, this is all about filling up your cup. Because if your cup is empty or half full or even 3/4 full, you cannot, without taking from yourself, give love to others, right? So for me, it's about filling yourself up, doing what's most important to you. When you do those things, you identify those things, you're nourishing your soul. And so, like for me, for example, my spiritual growth and personal development is my number 1. And I take time to practice those things every morning. So I'm doing my meditation, Ashtanga yoga, and I'm learning, you know, and for me, that's what fills me up. And just like Lisa Nichols would say, you don't give to others from your own cup. You allow yourself to be full, and whatever pours out onto the saucer beneath you, that's where you're able to be like, give this away, give that away, everybody gets some, like Oprah, right? So that is what we must do. We must learn what's most important to us and do those things as much as possible. And you can have like your top 5 and make sure that, which takes me on to the next step 3, is check, is my week, the way that I'm spending my day, the way that I'm spending my time, does it add up to what I say I feel most strongly about, to what I say is most important to me, to what I say I value? So ask yourself that question, you know. You can even like put stuff into Google Calendar and color code different things. I find that that really helps. And just see like, okay, so if I'm actually spending 3-4 hours a day on my phone, I used to do it, and I actually say that my highest value, the thing that's most important to me is my spiritual growth. If that doesn't add up, then that's probably a big reason why I'm not feeling the best that I could right now. You know, these are the indicators. So when you start to see, okay, what's important to me, what's not, how am I spending my time, you bring the two into alignment, and then it just starts to feel great. And yes, so number 4, moving on from that, would be to develop yourself. So whichever things are most important to you, whichever subjects, whichever things are most valuable to you, learn more about them, you know, and you're your primary resource. So go out there and do the research as well. So say that creativity is your highest value. Learn more about whichever part, whichever aspect of creativity you value the most, and you'll find that you're going to feel happier and your work's going to get better. The way you speak to others will be more healthy. And, you know, even if it's family, say your number 1 value is family, get to know them more. Learn about family dynamics. Learn about different things, the way that families work, you know. If that's what you value, study it. Learn more of it. Do more of it. Whatever it is, develop yourself. Whatever beliefs that you have, check them out, please. And this brings me on to number 5. Make your own, decide on what's true for you, you know, decide on what is true for you, because the way you perceive the world shapes your world. And if you've got these underlying beliefs that somebody else taught you, you could be creating a different world than what you could actually be perceiving. So go back and like check, okay, from what I've researched, from what I've experienced, from what feels true to me, is this true? Like, I'm the primary resource. This is my life, you know? And also, yes, there are so many scholars and people out there who've done some amazing, amazing work. Look them up too, you know? Like, if you want to be a speaker, go and watch and read the books of speakers. Learn about how they tell their stories. Learn about how they captivate audiences. If you want to be a mathematician, go and study people who are amazing mathematicians. Go to workshops, go to seminars. Whatever it is that you want to do, become the best at it. Put the hours in, right? And when you're doing it, be efficient with it as well. Just a little extra, like pay attention. Because if you're like, oh, I'm researching la 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 la, but then, you know, every 5 minutes I'm on my phone, it's not going in, it's just not going to work the best for you. So, with all that being said, when you are doing your own research and you're deciding what's true for you, make sure that you're all in for it, you know, and make sure that you feel comfortable with the beliefs that you choose to decide upon. So guys, if you've made it to the end, if you've been able to cope with my rambles, then thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You're awesome. And I'm sure that if you put a message in the comments, I'd love to hear feedback. Like, I'm sure that you've got some interesting things to say and some things I'd love to respond to. So start a conversation, because I'm all about conversation.